What's happening, my Jacked family? Coach Scott here, jackedafter40.com. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing the biggest diet lesson that I have learned during the past 15 years that I am sure many of my fellow men over 40 can relate to, and I'm certain that you're going to find the tips that I'm about to share in today's video incredibly helpful in your transformation journey. If you do, please do me a favor and smash that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it, and drop a comment down below to share your thoughts, insights, and your experiences with us. During the past 15 years, there have been many occasions where I have struggled to keep my diet in check, and I've overeaten to the point of feeling really uncomfortable, stuffed, and bloated. And I am ecstatic to report that during the past 15 months, I haven't experienced that feeling. I haven't eaten to the point of being over full. And I'm going to share the simple lifestyle tips that I have incorporated during the past 15 months to help me overcome those feelings and to live a life that is both satisfying, where I'm enjoying all of my favorite foods, but still feeling my absolute best and looking my absolute best in a way that's been able to allow me to get lean and stay lean. I find there were 3 occasions where I struggled to stick with my diet, and the first one was dinner time. I would portion out my serving size to hit my caloric target for the day, but if the meal was incredibly tasty, if it wasn't something that we didn't have too often, I would be very tempted to go up for seconds. Or if my kids didn't finish their meal, I'd be very tempted to polish off their plate, knowing that I would exceed my caloric target for the day and have to try to find a way to make up for it the following day. The second occasion is when I was at a gathering with friends or family, and there was a large assortment of food, many foods that I typically don't have and hadn't had in a while. So it's kind of like that feast or famine where I didn't know the next time I was going to be able to enjoy these kinds of sweet, delicious foods. So I would just shovel it down, and it didn't matter how full I felt. I didn't know when the next time was going to come, so I got to get as much of this in me as possible. I'm sure a lot of you men over 40 can relate to this experience as well. And the third time was vacations, especially if it was an all-inclusive resort, really feeling like I needed to get my money's worth. So a lot of times, most of the meals were buffet style settings. There's a few times where I'd go to like a nicer sit-down restaurant, but a lot of times of buffet settings, I would go up not just for a second helping, oftentimes a third, fourth, and sad enough, sometimes 5th and 6th helpings of meal, just because, again, it's not food that I'm used to having. It's a lot of variety out there. You want to try everything that's out there, and yeah, you really want to get your money's worth as well. At least that was my mentality back then. Let me know if you can relate to those experiences as well. Now I'm going to get to how I have changed my approach to all 3 of these situations that have really allowed me to, again, get real joy out of the overall experience, probably more joy than when I was to overindulge and overeat a lot of these tasty, delicious foods. And all these tips have helped me, again, get lean, stay lean, and just live my life to the fullest. The biggest diet lesson I learned is that it just wasn't worth it to overeat. Eating beyond that point of feeling satisfied didn't bring me any more pleasure. If anything, it brought me pain. It brought me that feeling of discomfort, feeling stuffed, feeling bloated, feeling sluggish, going to bed with acid reflux, and getting an interrupted sleep because I just couldn't get comfortable. My stomach felt awful. The next day, my stomach would be all thrown off as well. My digestive system would be going crazy. I'd feel sluggish. My workout performance would suffer. There was just no good that came from eating beyond that point of feeling satisfied. And after like 3.5 years ago, when I went through that last 12-week body transformation where I dropped that 20 pounds of fat and vowed to get lean and stay lean and not have to go through 12-week diet phases again, I really wanted to get to the bottom. I really wanted to get to the bottom of this and overcome these overeating experiences, the kind of binge-like experiences. I didn't want to feel full and bloated and stuffed anymore. Every time I did, I was the next day I regretted it, but I still kept doing it over and over again just because it seems to be ingrained in us. It's part of our social lifestyle, at least here in North America. So during the past 3.5 years, I've really had a heightened sense of awareness towards these situations where I've been more prone to overeat, and I've really made a conscious effort to listen to my body while I am eating and paying attention to how I feel after a meal based on the portion size that I consumed, the type of foods that I'm consuming, and this really kind of minimized the occurrences of overeating. But still, from time to time it would happen, and each time I'd be like, man, I do not like this feeling at all. I've got to do whatever it takes to kind of eliminate this from ever happening again. And I clearly remember the last time I felt this way. It was May 2019, Mother's Day, so 15 months ago. I recorded a YouTube video of that experience and vowing for it to never happen again. And that's basically my motivation. What stops me from overeating in any of these situations is that I don't want to feel that way. It sucks feeling uncomfortable. It sucks feeling stuffed and bloated, and it sucks going to bed with interrupted sleep, rolling around and just being restless under the sheets, and it sucks the next day having your digestive system all thrown off. So I don't want to feel that way. And it's not that I have to avoid all of my favorite foods or anything like that. That's definitely not the case. If you've been following my Jacked After 40 Life vlogs, you see that I sure as hell enjoy my cheat meals, my cheat days, but I can do so responsibly. And that's it. It's all the entire time I'm thinking, all right, I can enjoy these foods, but enjoy them in moderation. It's this simple advice that we brush off. We have heard it a million times before. Enjoy these foods, but in moderation. It is just listening to your body and eating to that point of feeling satisfied and enjoying these foods, but not in excess, because eating in excess doesn't bring you any more pleasure. If anything, it's going to bring you more pain and discomfort. So that's the biggest lesson I've learned. And now let's get to kind of each breakdown of those three occasions here where I find myself in those situations where I was tempted to overeat and oftentimes did, and how I don't do it now, how I am able to enjoy these cheat meals, cheat days, and still stay lean, and even was eating these foods to get lean to begin with. So in regards to overeating at dinner time and going up for that second helping, what I found works for me is that after I get my portion size on my plate, I'm gonna put the rest of the food in a Tupperware container, get it in the fridge. I'm gonna have those leftovers for tomorrow. I absolutely love that leftovers, so I can work those calories into my meals for the next day. And same thing, if my kids didn't polish off the foods on their plate, I'll just add it to those leftovers, and again, account for it in tomorrow's meals. And like I said, I always found it like that portion size that I have on my plate is enough to satisfy me. I know it's hitting my caloric target for the day, and if I am in a caloric deficit, I'm supposed to feel a little hungry towards the end of the day, so it may not feel 100% satisfied. I could use more, but I'm trying to burn fat, trying to get shredded after 40. So I know I'm supposed to feel a little bit discomfort. I'm supposed to feel a little bit of hunger. I'm supposed to want to have a little bit more, but I can have some more tomorrow. I get to enjoy this meal once again the following day, and it makes meal planning a heck of a lot easier when you have leftovers. It makes less food that you have to prepare for the following day. And again, like I said, with the kids' extra little portions, adding it to that, not being tempted to eat more than you should be at that meal. So it's just being responsible with that and enjoying that meal. When it comes to the gatherings, what I typically do is eat lighter throughout the remainder of the day, so I have a greater caloric budget that I can dedicate towards enjoying that experience and sampling the abundance of food that's there. And that's really the key, is that I'm not going to pig out on everything. I'm gonna have a little bit of everything that I really enjoy. I'm really going to savor each and every bite. I'm gonna leave there not feeling like I missed out on anything, and I'm gonna leave there feeling satisfied. I'm not gonna feel stuffed, silly. I'm basically going to live that experience to the fullest. It's been really great to hear some of the experiences from the fellow Jacked After 40 Club members who have really adopted this mindset. Lenny, who has dropped 40 pounds this past year, is a prime example of that. He's been to several gatherings the past month or so and really adopted this mindset where he's savoring every bite. And I find when you have this mindset, when you take this approach, this lifestyle approach to these social situations, you do gain more pleasure from those experiences because you're more aware of what's going on there. You're really savoring every bite. You're really grounded in that moment. You're like, this is delicious, rather than just shoveling it down your throat and really not tasting it at all. You're basically eating for the sake of eating it. So taking your time, putting the fork down, putting the spoon down between bites, having a conversation with people between bites and savoring that next bite. You're just really taking your time and enjoying that moment, enjoying each and every bite. So again, you leave that gathering not feeling like you missed out on a single thing, not feeling guilty because you basically kind of hit your caloric target for the day. Maybe tough to measure everything there, but you didn't stuff yourself silly. You can walk out there feeling victorious. You got to enjoy all these delicious foods. You didn't stuff yourself silly. It didn't set you back. At the worst case scenario is that the next day you're going to eat a little bit lighter because you may feel just a little bit full from that gathering there. So it's easy to make up the following day, right? You still feel energized, not feel sluggish because you didn't go way overboard. You might have gone a few hundred calories overboard. That's no big deal at all. Very easy to make up the following day rather than going 1,000 calories above your target or worse, which is very easy to happen at these gatherings. You kept things in check, and you can walk away feeling victorious, not guilty, not beating yourself up, not feeling like you missed out on a single thing. And finally, for the vacation settings, the last time I overate was 3.5 years ago when I went to Jamaica, and it was the first 3 days when I was definitely going up for thirds and fourths and just pigging out. And at the end of the first day, it was kind of fun. I gotta say, the first day I was like, this is freaking awesome. But second day, really uncomfortable. Third day, it was ridiculous. I remember posting in my Facebook group, the Jacked After 40 Club, how uncomfortable I felt at the time and how I was like thinking to myself, why am I doing this to myself? I'm not getting any more joy. If anything, I feel freaking awful right now. And in that moment, I decided, you know what, that's it. Enough is enough. Instead of going up for seconds, thirds, fourths, all that stuff, I am going to fix myself one single plate at dinner time. I'm gonna take a look at all the foods that are out in the buffet, pick a little bit of all the things that I would enjoy, eat that plate, that's gonna be enough, and then I will enjoy a dessert and feel comfortable. And then later that night, I went and grabbed a cappuccino while watching one of the evening shows. Everything felt great. My breakfasts were typical, great, healthy, good breakfast. I love always, no matter where I am on vacation, I love having like omelets, really well made up omelets and some fresh fruit and a smoothie. I think I had lemongrass smoothie that time. So my breakfasts were great. My lunches were pretty good. Actually, my lunches were freaking awesome. We had the jerk chicken on the beach. I think there was, the first day I may have pigged out at one of the buffets as well. And again, I kind of vowed not to do that. So it was just like jerk chicken and veggies at the lunch meal and some rice. So breakfast was great. Lunch was a great, well-balanced meal, and dinner, that one helping, that one serving size plate and dessert. And I felt like I enjoyed the entire experience. I got to sample all the different foods at that buffet on my one plate. I didn't have a freaking mountain of food on there that was gonna stuff myself silly. I got to enjoy the tasty dessert. I just got to enjoy the whole experience. I ended up, even though I ate less the following 4 or 5 days compared to the first 3, I enjoyed the experience a heck of a lot more, and I found that I was once again savoring each bite, kind of taking my time with the meal and enjoying the meal a heck of a lot more than just trying to eat as much food as I possibly could to get my money's worth. Now, when it came to the drinks on vacation, hell freaking yeah. I'm telling you, it didn't matter. That was like, that's not negotiable to me. I was like 10 a.m. as soon as that pool bar opened, I am there. That's part of the experience for me. Again, not getting crazy drunk, but I like to have a few drinks to kick off the day. Actually, not really kicking off the day. I'm up early in the morning, usually like 5:30. So by the time 10 o'clock roll around, I was already up for a little while. It's like afternoon for most people there. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. But I do enjoy that 10 o'clock, having that drink in the pool, lounging around. I typically have some drinks here and there till about 2 o'clock, and then I kind of cut it off, and because I really didn't need any more after that. I'd just be drinking some water, and then again, water with dinner, maybe a wine with dinner, then the cappuccino later at night as I wound down. But yeah, I'm gonna enjoy my drinks, and the drinks were even more enjoyable those last 4 days because I wasn't feeling full and bloated and stuffed from overeating at dinner the night before. So yeah, it just made the overall experience so much better to keep things in control. Yeah, you're at an all-inclusive resort, but don't feel like you have to get your freaking money's worth. Don't feel like you have to stuff yourself silly. Enjoy all the foods, but enjoy them responsibly. And you're gonna walk out of the experience feeling a heck of a lot better. It's been great to once again see my coaching clients adopting this kind of lifestyle as well. One of my coaching clients, Christy, just got back from a vacation and minimal damage to the scale weight and enjoyed the experience to the fullest. Actually, there's nothing better than having a client come back from vacation and saying they wouldn't change a thing. They really approached it as good as they possibly could. They didn't overeat. They didn't eat foods for the sake of eating them. Very conscious that if they were to eat a certain food that was out there or overeat, of how they would feel. And that was basically one of her main messages when she got back from the trip, is that she knew she just avoided feeling crappy. She didn't want to feel uncomfortable with some of the really deep fried foods or anything like that. So she stuck with foods that would help her feel good. And that's really what life is all about, eating to feel your best and getting the most enjoyment out of the overall experience. And once again, enjoying some alcohol and their good times with friends and everything. So when you can come back from a vacation thinking that, you know what, there's not a thing I would change. I enjoyed certain foods. I lived a little. I had some drinks. That is what you want. You want to enjoy the experience to the fullest. And that doesn't mean gorging yourself silly. You can get a lot more enjoyment from those experiences by not stuffing yourself silly. And that's the biggest diet lesson I have learned in the past 15 years, to simply eat to feel satisfied and to avoid those feelings of being over full and stuffed. If you want to see the foods that I eat to get shredded, check out my grocery haul here. If you enjoyed today's video, smash that thumbs up button. I'd really appreciate it. If you know a fellow bro who'd benefit from watching this video, do me a favor and share it with them. I'd love to hear from you down in the comment section below. Share your thoughts, share your insights, and don't forget to download your free guide, Jacked After 40. Have yourself an amazing day. Catch you in the next video.